YouTube, it's Nicky Steez back again, back with another live stream, and it's been a little bit since I've done a live stream, but I'm back, and I got some stuff to talk about. So I actually, as you can tell by the background, by the shirt I'm wearing, and by the title, I actually got some Philadelphia Eagles stuff to talk about. So this all came about last night when I was watching Mitch Kovsky's live stream. I tuned in a little bit, and the subject about Derek Gunn and his comments on Jalen Hurts came up. As you can read by the banner, this is Derek Gunn receives backlash after made comments about Jalen Hurts. This ties in the first subject I want to talk about. Mainly about the media, mainly the Eagles fans versus the media and how that situation is going. How I don't really like that situation right there. And what I'm going to do for everyone joining in is if you want to come in, you want to join in this live stream and you want to talk, give me your opinion, I'm going to put the link to it in the chat. So there's the link to it in the chat right there. The StreamYard link. You can come in and join in. And you can chat with me and let me know your thoughts about it. I'll ask you some questions and we can have a chat through this. So feel free to join. The link to my StreamYard's there. You just copy and paste the link to your browser and you can join in. Now let's get right into it. So Derek Gunn back in May, after some 7-on-7 drills, he made some comments suggesting that the Eagles weren't truly comfortable with Hurts as their starting quarterback after his performance in the 7-on-7 drill because his performance was underwhelming. Derek Gunn took the information, he published it, and here we are now in July. Now it's coming up. A lot of people are accusing Derek Gunn of not supporting Jalen Hurts, suggesting he's not behind him, that he doesn't support him. And there's a whole lot of fan backlash coming from that because of what Derek Gunn said right there. And even Derek Gunn had to recently come out and clarify, like, look, yes, I did say that. I got the information I got, and that's what I reported. That I'm not against Jalen Hurts. I want the guy to succeed. I support him, but I'm just telling you for what I'm hearing from the sources. That's all. I'm just reporting to you what I'm hearing. And what I heard was that the Eagles didn't feel comfortable with him as their starting quarterback after his performance in a 7-on-7 drill. And this is a back and forth thing going now. Some fans are, anytime a reporter comes out and says they have their questions about the starting quarterback or they're not sure how the starting quarterback's going to work out or not, they're not, they have their questions about his ability to throw the ball deep. They're looking at some of his performances last year, some of his question marks last year, like the interceptions against the Giants, his shaky performance against the Buccaneers in the playoff game. They're looking at that as question marks about whether or not Jalen Hurts can be the guy. And some people put this perception out there that if you question it, you're not a supporter of the quarterback, you're not a true supporter of the team, which isn't true at all. That's not true at all. But a lot of fans put this out. Anytime someone in the media comes forward and they give their opinion about something, or they say what they reporting what they hear, and then everyone comes out and if they somehow say something that isn't positive in favor of, the quarterback, they're going to say, okay, this person's not behind Jalen Hurts. And this is so stupid right there. This is. Because, obviously he doesn't. Hold on a second. What was I going to say right there? Hold on. I lost my train of thought for a second there. But, this holds this thing back and forth. It's so stupid right there. Look, Derek Gunn's just simply going to say what he's reporting. I mean, Derek Gunn's the main face of the Philly sports media. He was the main face of Comcast Sportsnet for years. So pretty much everyone knows who he is. He has a respected name in the Philly sports media and among Philly sports fans. But he's just simply coming here reporting what he heard. I mean, this shouldn't be a big fan thing about, oh, he's not supporting him. He's not this. He's not that. Just because simply you guys support Jalen Hurts, which I respect that. Some of the fans out there are saying they support Jalen Hurts. But then they're also trying to imply, no, that's not true. He's just reporting what he hears right there. And if the reports come out that Jalen Hurts has shown improvements in May, like sometime next week, all of a sudden reports come out that, hey, Jalen Hurts has improved since the 7-on-7 drills. He's starting to take the next steps needed to. He's working well with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith in practice. So that comes out. If that's what they're hearing and that's what they're being told, that's what they're going to report. It's as simple as that. Now, is everything that's reported true? No, not necessarily everything that's reported true. Some of it's blown out of proportion. Now, that's going to tie me into what I mainly wanted to talk about it. How the media gets us talking. Because, okay, in this whole example right here, this Derek Gunn situation is a perfect example. Derek Gunn put it out there about Jalen Hurts, something that things weren't looking good in 7-on-7 drills, and there's starting to grow some concerns about his long-term viability as quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles, and that got people talking. Some people were coming out saying, look, Jalen Hurts doesn't look like he's going to be that good of a quarterback. He's not the guy for us. You get some people say, oh, okay, he's not supporting it, which I already got into. Some people are going to say, oh, it's just a 7-on-7 drill. Get over it. Hey, he showed some promise here against the Broncos. Hey, see, he's had to cook. He put some nice throws against the Falcons. Okay, he had some nice throws against Washington for Week 17. The second half is just overreacting to one bad practice. But the point is, all these little articles that get put out there based on a practice. Yes, ironic. We're talking about practice in the Philly sport when it comes to Philly sports. Yeah, Allen Iverson made it cool to talk about practice, but all jokes aside, getting right back to it. What was I saying? Yeah, so all it takes is something for the media to get everyone else talking about. I told you he wasn't the guy. You see, Derek Gunn even knows he's not the guy. Or, oh, they're just overreacting. It's just one bad practice. Or, oh, I don't really know if this person's fully sold on this guy. It's always that type of stuff. I mean, take a look at what's going on. I'll step outside the Philadelphia Eagles for a second. Take a look about this whole Kevin Durant saga in the NBA that's going on. With Kevin Durant, about he wants, ever since he requested a trade, it's just gotten the media talking, all these different rumors right there. Yeah, the media pushed out these rumors about wanting to join the Miami Heat. Then these rumors about him join the Warriors. There's these rumors when he wouldn't join the Sixers. You know what it does? It's got us talking right now. It's got people talking, because that's how the media profits. They sit there, put out these stories, and they get people talking. And that gets, and that creates more, it's more profitable for the media once they get people talking, because people are talking about them, people are shouting out their name, going, hey, did you hear that? Derek Gunn said this, or, and whoever the case may be, or, hey, did you hear Sixers Wire said this right here, or, hey, did you hear what Skip Bayless said on Undisputed about Kevin Durant? All that type of stuff. That's what gets the media's profit go, because they say something that gets people talking about them, people mentioning their name, that, where they heard something and what person said this and what person said that. And that's what they do to get us talking about things. That's exactly what that Derek Gunn thing is, though. It's got us talking now about whether or not Jalen Hurts is a viable long-term option, and about whether or not that 7-on-7 drill was just a bad practice, or whether it is something to legit be concerned about. Now, I got my question marks surrounding Jalen Hurts and myself, and while we're still on that subject, I got my question marks about whether or not Jalen Hurts is actually going to be the guy going forward long term. I mean, the things he's going to have to work, he's going to have to definitely improve as a passer. I mean, he's going to have to be able to, throw the ball into double coverage. He's going to have to be able to learn to read defenses better than he did last season. He's going to have to be able to read his options better and get the ball off to him at the right time. Those are things he's going to have to work on. Because last year he didn't show he didn't show a whole lot of patience reading his options. That led to him running maybe a little bit too much. Like, take the game against the Saints, for example. It felt like, I remember, how many did he rush for against the Saints? Because I remember he ran a lot in that game against the Saints, to the point where, like, oh my gosh, okay, he's starting to run a little too much. I mean, he scored 3 rushing touchdowns. Yeah, he can make plays with his legs, but if he keeps running, he's going to eventually get hurt. And I'm looking that game up right now to see. Okay, so he rushed 18 times for 69 yards in that game. I felt 18 times was a little too much to be running the ball right there. It's right there, clearly showing that game. He wasn't taking his time reading his options, reading to see if Smith's open, or if Goddard was open, or if Rager was open. And that's something he's got to work on right there. Obviously, he can still make plays with his feet. I know even former Eagles linebacker Jeremiah Trotter came out and said that he thinks Jalen Hurts should move with his feet more. He can make more plays there, which he did a lot of last year. And sometimes he did make plays for us using his feet, scrambling, taking off. But he's also got to learn to be able to pass the ball too and read his options well too. Because even Michael Vick, much of a scrambler he he did learn how to read his options, and he could throw the ball too, and he could throw the deep ball. You remember the Monday Night Massacre right there against Washington with first play, he threw the deep ball to Deshaun Jackson. You remember in Atlanta, he threw the deep ball some few times there too, in some of his highlights. So even a scrambling QB like Michael Vick that can make plays with his feet, he still learned how to throw the ball effectively too. He wasn't the greatest passer in the league, but he could still get the job done passing. He could still do so effectively when needed to. That's something that Jalen Hurts has got to work on in order to truly be a Michael Vick type of player. He's got to learn to do a better job there. So his inability to read his options from last season, that does have me concerned about Jalen Hurts going forward and whether or not he's going to be the guy right there. So I do have my concerns right there. But yeah, so obvious. So I'm hoping that 7-on-7 drill that was reported, I'm hoping that was just a bad practice right there. I'm hoping that's all it was. Now, could it have been an overreaction to a bad practice? Time will tell. Time will tell if that's the case or not. But we'll have to see. And ultimately, yeah, as you can see by the banner, this is an example of how the media's got me talking. Now they got me talking about practice, just like Allen Iverson. All right, but that'll be the last AI joke for this live stream right here. But okay, yes. And they always get us talking. Like, now back to Kevin Durant's example of how the media gets us talking here. So, like, now, because, it was always these different reports right here. The report about the Warriors, that got a lot of us talking right here. That one even got me to make a video telling them, no, don't do it. If you go to my channel, you could even type in Nikki Steve, or you could type on YouTube, Nikki Steve's Kevin Durant Warriors. Should be the first video that pops up, right? The thumbnail was on one hand, it's got me, I was shaking my finger back and forth, but it's me holding it in like a no. On one side, on the other side, it's Kevin Durant in a Warriors uniform. So I talked about that saying, no, even though I don't think he's going to do it, I don't see it likely. I really hope it doesn't happen. The point is that one rumor is all it took to get people talking. Even then, some people have been coming on here recording YouTube videos talking about the possibility of Durant joining the Sixers, about what they're going to have to give up. So I think they're going to have to give up too much. They're going to have to give up a guy like Tyrese Maxey to the Nets. They're also going to give up some draft picks. That's going to be a lot they're going to have to give up a ton just to get Kevin Durant. So right there, that's going to be the thing. That's the thing that, is it really, are we going to be able to give up a lot and still be able to win now with Kevin Durant? And that's the question I have about that trade. To anyone who's thinking about that possibility, is that going to happen right there? But the point is, all the rumors about the 76ers, it got some of us talking. It's got a lot of us on YouTube talking. MK, Mitch Kovsky, Run It Back Philly take with RB. All these different guys, they're coming out talking, giving their thoughts on the possibility of a Kevin Durant trade. Should we do it? Should we not do it? Got Sixers Twitters on there talking to, giving their thoughts on whether or not they should do it. But it's that things like there, it's got people talking. You even got some people coming in here doing their videos, talking about the possibility of Durant joining the Miami Heat. All these different possibilities that are being lurked out through media, bringing up rumors, has also got us, the fans, talking as well. And that's what the media does. That's how they get us talking. They spread out all these rumors. Anytime, I'm not sure exactly where they get the inside information from, but once they get the information, they decide to take it, put it out to the public, get people talking, like I said, they get people mentioning their name, because once people start, they get people commenting on their websites, get people commenting on their YouTube channels, giving their thoughts about it as soon as they put it out there. And that works great for them in the digital age, where everyone's got their YouTube channels, everyone's got their Twitter pages. Let all these different media figures have that. So they can go post that stuff, post the rumors they discussed on air, post it on their YouTube, like, Undisputed with Skip and Shannon. They've talked a lot about Kevin Durant, mainly about the Miami Heat, a little bit about the Phoenix Suns. I didn't actually watch it, but I see it in my suggestions. Like when I go through YouTube, I see suggestions to it. So I know they're talking about it. I know it's going to definitely get people commenting on their YouTube page and all that. And that's what the media does. They get us talking, and it works great for their favor. It helps them profit. So that's another reason they do it right there too. It's a relatively simple concept they've done that works for years now. They report all the rumors that are going on, push it out there to the public, get people talking, get people commenting on their pages, get people making videos mentioning who they heard something from, sharing links to the articles for others to read it. And that's what they do. And it works out great for them because the more, especially in this case with Kevin Durant, the longer this Kevin Durant trade proposal or this, as longer this holds out before official decision is made on whether Kevin Durant's going to get traded, or or if he does decide to stay with the Brooklyn Nets, which it is a possibility, even though he did request a trade, it is possible that Steve Nash, he could get him to could talk to him, and they could end up staying. So that's a possibility too. But the longer this saga plays out with Kevin Durant, the better for the media. Better it is for the ESPNs, the FS1s, all the online sources such as Bleacher Report and all those guys. It's better for them because NBA.com. It's all great for those sources and all the many others because they can continue to report rumors. They can continue to get people read their articles, continue to get people to record videos mentioning them or sharing their articles on social media. So that's going to be great for them right there. The longer this plays out, the better for them. But yeah, so the media, man, they always get us talking, man. And I've even said, like last night I was on Mitch Kosky's stream. I said, I don't really like what the media is loves to do. They get us out here talking. They get us reacting, freaking out about the possibility that, oh, we could get this. Like anytime the reports get pushed out there that the Eagles, so many different rumors, like the rumors that Kyrie could join the Sixers. Now there's still the rumors about Durant linking into the Sixers. All the rumors the media was pushing about Deshaun Watson joining the Eagles till he was finally traded to the Browns. The Tyrann Mathieu rumors. I can go on and on and on and on with all these different rumors that are pushed out there. All these different sources, Bleeding Green Nation, Sixers Wire, ESPN, so on and so forth. I don't like the fact they continue to push these rumors out there and continue to talk about this. So all it does is get people excited for possibilities that aren't going to happen. It gets people to put together their trade. See all these other people, these other fans and these other YouTubers putting their trade scenarios out there, which never see the light of day. And it gets people recording videos about rumors that some of us obviously see and go, this doesn't make any sense as to why they're going to do this. Like the Deshaun Watson rumors. That was one. It didn't make any sense based on Deshaun Watson's legal situation and the fact we were still hoping to get our future guy in Jalen Hurts, which we are right now. Where in fact we're trying to build the offense around him by giving him more weapons. That's why we did pull off the draft day trade to get A.J. Brown. So we brought in Zach Pascal in free agency. I apologize for that. Yeah, but that's why we did that. That's why, right, we signed Devin Allen in hopes that it'll make the roster to try to give more weapons for Jalen Hurts because we know wide receiver is one of the weak points. And we're like, okay, yes, Jalen did struggle in the passing game, but we also want him to get some wide receivers. So but the point of all that I'm saying right there is that the Eagles are intent on building around Jalen Hurts. So the Deshaun Watson rumors didn't make any sense. And considering that the Eagles traded Carson Wentz last offseason, signifying they want to move on from Carson Wentz. They don't like they didn't like the climate that had been, if that's the appropriate word, that had been cultivated with Carson Wentz. So obviously they want to trade him. They were looking to get behind Jalen Hurts, but yet you got all these different media sources pushing out the Deshaun Watson rumors, and I had to read all this crap, and I'm thinking in my mind, it doesn't make any sense at this point for them to go after Deshaun Watson. He's got all these legal cases against him, and besides, when we're seeing, it looks like they're going to go for it and try to make Jalen Hurts a starting quarterback. Why would they go in and pull off this trade and possibly create another QB controversy when all they had been dealing with was quarterback controversies since the Super Bowl run? So I didn't understand. I'm like, why would they risk doing that right now? Especially on a guy who's got all these legal cases against him. Excuse me about that. But the point is, what I was saying is, all this talk the media was putting out there about Deshaun Watson, I'm like, it doesn't make any sense at all. But yet they get pushing it out there and get people talk about it. Even the Tyrann Mathieu, they were pushing it out there that the Eagles are favorites to land Tyrann Mathieu. They're favorites to sign Tyrann Mathieu. They're favorites to sign Tyrann Mathieu. It had been pushed out there for a while until he finally did sign with the Saints. But all that did was get Eagles fans talking. It got our hopes up falsely that we were going to possibly get Tyrann Mathieu. And ultimately, it didn't play out. Now, I understand, obviously, a lot. We wanted Tyrann Mathieu to join the Eagles to help our secondary because we needed some help with the secondary. Now, we did get James Bradbury, which is an upgrade, but we still have our flaws in the secondary, and we didn't address it during the draft right there. But the point is, all that did was get us talking right there about the possibility that Tyrann Mathieu could join the Eagles. So all this, so the media helped push out there in the past 2 years. Look, a Deshaun Watson, Tyrann Mathieu rumor for the Philadelphia Eagles. Neither of those saw the light of day, but it got people talking and talking and talking and talking. Like Bleeding Green Nation, all these sources were putting it out there, and it just was so annoying. It's like, they continue to talk about. Even with this Kevin Durant thing starting to get annoying with all these different sources like ESPN, FS1 talking about it. They're pushing out there that Durant, he could sign with the Miami Heat. Then next minute, they're talking about the possibility of joining the Warriors. And the next minute, it's the Phoenix Suns. And now we're back to it's the Miami Heat. It's just like, this is what's so annoying about the media. They just go on and on talking about this crap. And they get us about where Kevin Durant's going to go. But meanwhile, while they're wasting all this time talking, he hasn't signed a contract yet, and a deal hasn't been made between the Brooklyn Nets front office and another of the 29 NBA teams' front office. Yet we're still talking about it. And we're just wasting time talking about all these different possibilities of where it could go ultimately for him not to go there. Another thing I don't like about them, while we're still on the subject of the media, is the way they favor heavy markets in names. Like, as soon as the Lakers started bringing in guys, as soon as they brought in Carmelo Anthony, pulled off the trade for Russell Westbrook, Dwight Howard rejoined them. All of a sudden, everyone's talking about how the Lakers could be contenders to win the NBA Finals, the contenders to be the number one seed in the West in 2021-2022 season, all because they brought in big names. And guess what happened? You know what happened? None of that happened. They didn't do that at all right there. It's just like, they did not know where was I about. Excuse me. Well, what did I lost my train of thought for a second. None of that about how they're going to go and win the Western Conference and all this and that. They got these names now. They got LeBron, Russ, AD, Dwight Howard, Carmelo Anthony. This is going to be a super team that's going to win it all. And they didn't even make the playoffs. So as soon as a bunch of big names are get brought in, they hype it up as this is going to be this great super team to try to profit off of having all these different star players on the same team. They're trying to help teams with a bunch of names profit. They're trying to make that team one of the more profitable teams. They do that by praising them up every time they sign a couple names as if they could possibly be contenders. Every time, like they did with the Lakers, because it's a big market city. They got all these names that are recognizable that can draw money for the league. So they were pushing it out there. Meanwhile, we were seeing warning signs that the chemistry couldn't be there. As we were seeing that this could have been similar to the Steve Nash, Kobe, Dwight Howard super team. And the fact that they got all this hype, but they never live up to it. And ultimately, that's what happened. But it's just, I really don't like the media, period. Especially mainstream media. I'd rather listen to the guys on YouTube and what you guys got to say. You guys are entertaining. You're a lot more authentic. You come on here and say what you really, what you really feel like say what you say in your heart and you stick with it. You don't worry about trying to push out this idea for, not necessarily for profit. I mean, obviously you guys are trying to build up your channel, grow your channel, get some views, but you're not trying to just sit there and just stir the pot up for profit in a nonsensical way like the mainstream sports media loves to do by always sitting out there pushing these nonsensical random rumors that if we actually stop and think about it, don't make sense. I mean, even without the whole Kyrie Irving, even after he decided to take his player option and rejoin the Nets, now all of a sudden there's all this talk now. They're still talking about the possibility that Kyrie could get traded. If Durant gets traded, Kyrie could go join the Lakers. LeBron could do him a favor and bring him over there. It's like, I just at this point it doesn't seem likely that that's going to happen right there. So the media, the media is just pushing out there. Even some of the mainstream ones like FS1. That's where I just look at them like, oh, just let it go, stop it. That just gets on my nerves right there. So yeah, I don't want to talk too much about the mainstream sports media. I think you guys get the point. I generally don't like what they got to say. A lot of stuff they talk about is just a bunch of talk. It doesn't see the light of day. A lot of stuff that's more likely to happen on a video game, whether it be Madden or NBA 2K. They just sit there and they push the big market cities they push the teams that play in the big market cities all the time as contenders. Anytime they make a big move or a splash, they push them out as favorites. And more often than not, it doesn't work out the way they talk about it. I mean, I could just go on and on. Like one example with the NFL, how this mainstream sports media pushes the Dallas Cowboys like they're still a dynasty by constantly putting them in primetime games, constantly giving their games a ton of coverage when more often than not, they're usually mediocre. They've been mediocre for the better part of the past 2 decades, but in that stretch, they still get hyped up. Even when they're really not that great of a team, they're still getting all these primetime games. Like even last year, they got the primetime game week 1 against the Bucks when they were off a losing season. It's like, I mean, they're still putting them on. They always put the Eagles and Cowboys on primetime every year, even when both teams aren't that good. Like they did that last season. Like they put it on a Monday night game week. Every year they always schedule one game, whether it be a Monday or a Sunday night game, even when one of those teams is off a bad year or both teams aren't expected to be mediocre, whatever the case may be, even when they're really not expected to be good teams or only one of them is expected to be good, they still put it out there and they still cover that game like it's the most important thing. They always cover the Cowboys like they're one of the top teams, even when they're not, just for the sake of pushing a team with a profitable slogan such as America's team out there. It's just a lot of stuff about the mainstream sports media I don't like. Always pushing out the Dallas Cowboys just because they're supposedly America's team, even when they're not that good. Yeah, they're always sitting there, always trying to hype up super teams, even when common sense tells us, okay, they might not be that good, or even when common sense tells us that the front office isn't interested in a player like the Eagles with Deshaun Watson, or they just push it out there all the time. It's just so annoying to listen to, but I don't want to ramble on too much. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch gears. So be back in 1 minute. I'm going to switch gears and we're going to talk about the Philadelphia 76ers Summer League, some of the players. I'll give you my thoughts on who I think is playing good so far. And I'll be back in 1 minute. Okay, so now I switch gears. You see, I've changed the background right there. I changed my shirt right now. So now I'm going to talk about the Philadelphia 76ers a little bit and the Summer League right there. So this is the first time I've followed the Summer League. Oh, and by the way, to anyone joining in, if you want to come on here live and join with me, click the link. I got the link to my StreamYard right there. You can copy and paste the link into your browser and join in. Feel free to let me know. Give me your thoughts on some of the Summer League. What's going on with the Summer League? Your thoughts on Isaiah Joe, Paul Reed, and all those guys right there. Charles Bassey, all those guys right there. Let me know what you feel. And I'll ask you some questions. Feel free to answer and join in. We'll have a nice little discussion right there. So the link's there in the StreamYard. You're invited to join in if you'd like. So now let's get into it. So we're here with the 76ers Summer League right here. And I put up a poll question, though. So those guys, you can also feel free to vote on that poll question. The poll question is simple. Should Isaiah Joe get regular season playing time? Just simply vote yes or no. Do you think he should get some playing time? Now, obviously, Isaiah Joe has been the main subject right here of this Summer League thus far. Give me 1 second right here. So, yeah, he's been the main subject of this Summer League thus far for the Philadelphia 76ers. He's been the top offensive scorer for them thus far. And we look at right now. So I wrote this down, some of this right here. So Isaiah Joe, look at his points. He had 19 against the Thunder there, and he had 24 against the Raptors. I even did a video a little bit on YouTube yesterday. I reacted to Isaiah Joe hits Dame range 3. You can go to my channel and check out my reaction to that. That was from the game against the Raptors on Saturday, where he had a nice 3 right there. So on the offensive side of the ball, the player who's been garnering the most attention in individual performance thus far in the Spring League is obviously Isaiah Joe. I made a video saying that he should get some playing time. I even reacted to one of his 3s. Obviously, I know a lot of the other people on here, Philly content creators, Run It Back Philly Take the RB, Mitch Kovsky, all those guys. They're coming on here discussing Isaiah Joe. Also tweeting about how he should get playing time right here. I even got a comment from Nightings on my video yesterday reacting to the 3 he made against the Raptors. So obviously a lot of people there. Obviously he's garnering a lot of talk right there from a lot of fans, right? You get fans who are saying, hey, we want Isaiah Joe to play. He should get some playing time. He's been going out there thus far this Summer League, excuse me. He's been going out there playing hard every chance he gets. Now, he did miss some time against the Nets. He only got 8 minutes. 8 minutes in, he left the shoulder injury. He did come back and watch on the sideline, but he did not return to the game. So that was a disappointment right there. Now, we do got another Summer League game later tonight. It'll be at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Philadelphia 76ers versus the Miami Heat right there. So that'll be an interesting game right there. Let me see. There. So I know that's going to be later tonight, 9 p.m. So I'm on SixersWire.com. I'm going to let you guys know where you can watch it right there. So I'm reading this on Sixers Wire. It is on ESPN2 at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's at the Cox Pavilion Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. So you can check out that game tonight right there if you want to see it for yourself. Now, some people might be coming on here doing live streams. You're reacting to it. Probably not going to be doing one that late. But yeah, that's going to be later tonight. We'll get to see what's going on right there. Should be able to get to see those guys there. Hadn't heard anything about Isaiah Joe. Hopefully he should get some playing time tonight against the Heat right there. I'm hoping he does. We at least gets a chance to keep his momentum alive right there in recent games, and I hope that carries over now. But I also do want to discuss. So I don't want to talk too much about Isaiah Joe because I've talked about him before right there. Although I will say this about Isaiah Joe, though. Look, honestly, the way he's playing, he's making shots. He's scoring on the offensive side of the ball. He's really helping us out right there. This guy should be getting some more minutes. He should be getting some more time right for us during the regular season. Now, obviously, I'm not saying that he should necessarily be incorporated into the starting lineup, but he should be getting some minutes off the bench. I mean, really, Isaiah Joe should have got more playing time last year. Especially when we have Korkmaz, Matisse Thybulle, Danny Green, who we did trade to the Grizzlies in exchange for DeAnthony Melton on the draft night. But the point is, what I'm saying, though, is look at some of our bench guys, especially our disappointing bench guys like Korkmaz and Thybulle. Guys like Paul Reed and Isaiah Joe should have gotten some more playing time during the regular season, especially when it was coming to games against teams like the Pacers and the Pistons, the Rockets and Thunder, teams who are at the bottom of the league. That I thought those would have been great games to get some of these guys who haven't gotten that experience in an actual regular season NBA game before that experience against teams with less. Against lesser teams to help them build up their confidence so they can play better in those situations. Instead of thrusting their first official course of NBA at regular season action against a team like the Warriors or the Bucks, instead you give them to teams that they'll play better against. They'll have a better shot of, starting off their career on the right path, starting off their season on the right path against to help them build their confidence up. So that's something I thought they should have been doing already. Same with Paul Reed, but they weren't doing that because Doc Rivers doesn't want to play these younger guys. He always favors playing the veterans that have the experience, that have proved it. And don't mention Tyrese Maxey because, I know people are going to mention, well, Tyrese Maxey played. Yes, he did, but the only reason Tyrese Maxey played is because Ben Simmons basically quit on the team and possibly quit on basketball. That's the reason why Tyrese Maxey got that playing time, and we all know it. Ben Simmons wasn't there. He wasn't participating in anything, not practice, wasn't joining the team. So therefore, they had to start somebody else in that spot. That's why Tyrese Maxey got the playing time. And what happened when they gave the younger guy some playing time? He ended up being one of the best parts of our season. And he should have won Most Improved Player over John Morant. I mean, look, John Morant shouldn't have gotten Most Improved Player. He already won Rookie of the Year. His career was already trending upward as it was from his rookie season. So I don't get they just wanted to give one of their young stars who can make money from an award. That's what they were thinking. They don't want to get too off subject right here. The point is, look, Isaiah Joe is doing in the Summer League should be enough to grant him some playing time throughout the regular season. Not saying he's a day one starter. No, absolutely not. I'm saying he should at least be in the game. He should at least be one of the bench guys. He should get some minutes during the regular season. Like I said, it would be nice too, especially if he can get some minutes off the bench against some of those teams like the Pistons or the Pacers or the Rockets, especially if we're playing them and we're up big. We can call, when a whistle's blown, okay, we can give our starters a few minutes rest. Okay, give some of these bench guys some minutes. Let some of these guys like Isaiah Joe, Charles Baisley, or Paul Reed be the guys that come in off the bench, or Charles Bassey, guys that come off the bench. And now, speaking of Charles Bassey right now, so I'm going to switch gears. Got the question also is, who will play during the regular season? Now, Charles Bassey had one of the better performances there. So against the Nets, he's had 11 points, 9 rebounds against the Nets. That was one of the better offensive scores of it. And even against the Raptors on 22 minutes, he had 9.6 rebounds right there. Now, he did not play against the Thunder, but Bassey also had, 17 points, 9 rebounds, 4 steals? Against what game was that again? I think it was the Thunder game he had that right there. So the point is, though, Charles Bassey, he's putting up some numbers for the time he gets to play. I know it's Summer League and it's not the regular season, but still. I mean, these guys are at least going out there putting up some solid performances individually in these games. So obviously that should require them. That should be enough to at least get some of these guys some playing time. And it's actually watching Really Take with RB. One of his streams, he brought up as something interesting. A suggestion that, that I thought about. I'm like, that's, Yeah, that's an interesting take, right? Probably because what did he say? He suggested that excuse me, I can't speak there for a second. He was saying one of Billy Tig with RB was saying that they were that Daryl Morey might be intentionally not getting these free agents to force Doc Rivers to play some of these younger guys and be like, hey, here's some of these younger guys I drafted. Here's Isaiah Joe. Here's are guys like Paul Reed. These are guys like Charles Basie. Here you go. Play these guys, Doc. So I think, and where I think about it, I'm like, yeah, that's probably why we haven't made a whole lot of moves in free agency. He made a couple moves to add some pieces that are going to come in and help us out. But the reason he's not really going and signing a lot of different players because he wants Doc Rivers to play guys like Charles Basie, who he can rotate between center and forward. See, we haven't gotten a backup center yet. And I think ultimately that's what part of the reason why, because he wants Doc Rivers to give Charles Basie some playing time. He's not going out his way to give these guys. He's not going out his way to try to find a backup center. He wasn't going to try to bring Drummond back. He wasn't going looking for Dwight Howard or looking for DeMarcus Cousins because he wants Doc Rivers to play the guys he drafted. And the more I think about it, I think those guys are right. So shout out to Philly Tig with RB for saying that. Yes, I think that is definitely a wise approach to take right there. And that's an approach we should take to be like, hey, we brought these guys in. Give them some playing time, Doc Rivers. You're the coach. I'm not going to sign a bunch of veterans only to see the guys that I drafted get wasted and not get any playing time. I mean, honestly, we have Joel Embiid as our starting center, and considering his injury history, and obviously we need a backup center because even when Embiid's healthy, he's going to opt out of the games at some point, even for a little bit. And we obviously need someone to fill in at center while he's sitting on the bench, or if he does get hurt, one or the other. And in this case, Charles Basie, he's our guy. He can be used as a center. And we see so far in the Summer League, he's done pretty well for himself when he's played. I mean, again, it's only the Summer League, but he's putting up some good performances, individual performances, which is what the Summer League's all about, individual performances. And we're seeing some solid individual performances from Charles Basie. That's suggesting, wait a minute, this guy should be getting some playing time. So, I definitely, that's what I think right there, that he's a guy that you incorporated in the starting lineup at some point. I do think they shouldn't sign a center because that's the only way we'll ever see any of these guys that are getting drafted that are unproven under the age of 25 actually play is when they don't have any other depth piece that Doc Rivers can rotate in. He doesn't have veterans that he can go to. He's going to have to go to the younger guys. So, that's the only way you're going to be able to get it out of him. So to get Charles Basie out of it. Isaiah Joe, I mean, considering we still have Korkmaz on the roster, because I'm going to go through the roster. I got it on NBA.com. So, I mean, Tyrese Maxey, Julian Champion, Michael Foster Jr., Tyrese Maxey, DeAnthony Melton, James Harden, Miles Powell, Isaiah Joe, Paul Millsap, Jaden Springer. And Jaden Springer's a guy, well, we're still on the subject of Jaden Springer. I mean, Jaden Springer, he's played solid. He's played a few solid games here in this summer league, but I don't think he's a guy that's quite ready for NBA level game yet. He needs some more time in the G League to develop right there. So I'm not too sure about that right there. I mean, you got Cassius Winston. I mean, he had a nice performance because of that 16 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, 9.7 assists, 2 rebounds against the Raptors. He did not play versus the Thunder. 11 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds against the Jazz. Okay, so Cassius Winston, he's a guy. He was in the G League. He's been 2 seasons in the league, first year in the G League. He had a little bit of playing time with the Wizards, but he didn't do anything spectacular. Cassius Winston, I mean, I'm going to have to see some more out of him these next 2 games to see if I would even consider giving him any playing time during the regular season. But back to the roster. You got guys like Shake Milton, George Niang, Matisse Thybulle, Orkin Korkmaz. I mean, you can forget about Thybulle. Thybulle might get traded. And yeah, forget about Paul Millsap and Korkmaz. You could easily give Basie, Paul Reed, and Isaiah Joe playing time over those guys right there. Tobias Harris is another guy. He's not worth keeping long term. I mean, you could definitely give some of those other guys, these guys that have been shining in the summer league thus far individually, some playing time over guys like Korkmaz, Milton, Millsap, Niang. You can definitely give some playing time. I mean, maybe George Niang, you could keep give him some. Well, maybe George Niang too, but definitely over Thibault and Korkmaz and Millsap. You could definitely give Isaiah Joe and Charles Basie some playing time over those guys, and Paul Reed too. Don't forget him. So those are the three guys I have in mind right now that I think from the summer league thus far that should get some playing time during the regular season right there. Those three guys, obviously, as I've stated, Paul Reed, Isaiah Joe, Charles Basie. You guys can let me know if you're not watching this live. You can let me know if you are watching this, you can let me know in the comment section if you think they should start during or not start, but who do you think they should play during the regular season that's got some playing time thus far in the summer league. You guys can let me know right there. So it's going to be about an hour. We're about 47 and a half minutes into this right now. So I'm going to call it right here. So to everyone that watched, thank you. Everyone that tuned in, thank you for doing so. Whether you tuned in live or you watched it afterward, thank you for tuning in. If you're watching this right now, live or on Rebra or afterward, just drop a like if you haven't done so. Subscribe if you're new. Feel free to leave it and also leave a comment. Let me know what you think about what I discussed, whether you agree, disagree, whether you have additional points you want to bring up to anything I talked about during this stream. Feel free to do so. Sound off. Most of all, have a wonderful day or night. Nikki Steve signing off, and I'll see you next time.